Hey everyone. So today we got Mark 1 Cargo SSTO. Now, it's low tech, which is real important because there's no rapiers, there's no nukes. This is just swivels, panthers. I don't think there's anything more advanced on here than that. There's an engine plate. But yeah, so many people who will remain unnamed have a thing about using, end of the tech tree stuff in order to get anything into space. And I have some things I got to put up there well before I've completely finished off the tech tree. So let's take a look at how this thing does. Spoiler alert, I've already begun working on a second version of this because it's not exactly the greatest thing of all time. I had trouble taking off with it. I didn't want to smash those Panthers, but I didn't have to use afterburners in order to get it off the runway, which is nice. Not all the time, because this thing is heavy. Flies like a brick. The ascent profile is pretty basic, as you can see here. Just, 10, 15 degrees until you get to 5,000. Try to level it off. Let's take care of the thing. So yeah, it's a pretty nifty little thing. I like the way it handles when it's empty. When it's full, it's like, I mean, you can see. Takes forever to get it up to speed. Takes forever to get anywhere. But yeah, we're starting to hit around 300 meters per second, which is, a good indicator to get up a little bit higher so you don't get Mach effects. Kind of botched it though by not leveling out before hitting the afterburners enough. Like I could have probably got up to 300. You can see right here I'm about to turn on the afterburners, and that's probably early. We're at about 10,000. We're gonna continue to climb. I messed up the ascent profile again later on because I don't level out before turning on the rockets. I mean, having enough fuel would have really helped, as you'll see later on. But yeah, this thing has a lot of trouble getting altitude, and that was one of the reasons why I had to move along to the Mark II version, which is significantly better. I'll have something for that maybe tomorrow. So yeah, we're climbing. We're up at around 23, 24 kilometers. That's when we kick in these swivels here, which, I mean, that adds speed, but it really quickly turns off the Panthers. Panthers, I think, shut off at 25 kilometers, and I really should have leveled out. I really should have gotten up to about at least 1,000 meters per second before doing that. Like, I'm just burning fuel now. Yeah, there they go, 26 kilometers. So yeah, now we're riding just on swivels. It's easy to get into orbit though. The thing's got a lot of extra delta V because I kind of expected I'd botch it. But yeah, once we get up into orbit and into space, be ditching that fairing. You guys will be able to see what I've been hauling all the way up here. It's nifty. It's pretty nifty. Nifty little beast I got. The idea of it is what's the best part of it. Not wasting all that money. So yeah, here we are in orbit, deploying the fairings. You can see it's held together by duct tape. I used the truss sections to the truss on the fairing build to maintain it. Those wings aren't actually attached to that, but they appear to be. So the thing looks like it'll work. I got a probe core in there. That's like, a dummy payload, just to make sure that it works. I don't think I'd ever put anything like that up. Like, I definitely have some more stuff going on. I don't think it even has an accessible hatch. Definitely doesn't have any power generation or anything. But yeah, I mean, it works. That apoapsis and periapsis are absolutely terrible, but it does have enough delta V to get up around 100 kilometers in a semi-normal orbit. This was basically just a test run, a proof of concept, if you will, and it proved that the concept isn't exactly the best. The thing has some serious issues during re-entry, as you'll see here in a moment. It's aerodynamically stable despite having a giant hole in it. Yeah, here we go. You can see the wings are already starting to heat up. The only issue is that it takes forever to slow down because that lifting body effect from the fairing isn't there anymore. It's all going well though. I mean, all things considered, slowing down a little bit. You can see right here that I'm starting to get nervous about those temperature gauges, and I decided to try and distribute the heat a little more evenly, and it just completely loses control at this point. I mean, to be fair, I did distribute the heat pretty evenly. I figured a full flip like that would slow it down a little bit more than it did too. But yeah, the thing basically goes into a crazy spin. And, I mean, we're real high up. We have tons of speed, so I'm not real worried about it. I get it back under control a couple times, but it doesn't matter much at this speed and this altitude what the thing does. It's probably helping to burn off the speed and, distribute the heat, like I said. I was real worried. I don't know why. There's nothing on here. I don't think I would have trouble flying without one of something if something did explode. Anyway, starting to slow down. We're through the worst part of it right now, but as you can see, the thing won't gain control again. It's going into a death spiral, mostly caused by the weight of those Panthers, which doesn't make any sense. All the fuel is in the tank up front, right behind the cockpit. But yeah, it once I get those engines running, it kind of gets itself back under control. Jeb is wrestling with this thing. I got it set up so he tries to point prograde. Get it going where it's going and then pull up. Like, it flies okay. All things considered. I went into chase cam. I went into super pro mode trying to fly this thing correctly, and that still didn't even help. But yeah, it started to occur to me right here. It was coming up on the KSC, but I didn't think I was going to be able to land there. So I downed the landing gears. That was mostly, believe it or not, to create some drag. I figured the more drag I had, the easier it would be to get this thing under control. Right now, I'm just trying to keep it prograde and then move to prograde someplace reasonable, which is basically what's going on right here. Well, like I said, I'm burning fuel, and there's not a ton of fuel to be had because I botched the ascent profile. The thing, by all rights, should have been able to make it back to the runway. I don't know about landing. This, like I said, this was the first test run. But yeah, it occurred to me that there's the mountains, and we're real far away and don't have a lot of fuel at all to speak of. So I started to panic, and I was looking, and there's nothing but bumpy hills. It's going to be real tough to bring this thing in anywhere. And here we go. Just trying a simple turn. Got this thing completely out of whack. 36 units of fuel. Burning off like a half a unit per second. It's not going well. This is when I start to panic. And I realize I'm probably not going to make it to the KSC. I'm going to think about putting it down right here on the grass. Only like less than 2 kilometers up to by the radar altimeter. So the ground's right there. Although we are, going fine. There's enough forward momentum on this thing to bring it in. I have still these delusions of getting it back. You can see me trying to curve it back east, trying to get it to the runway like it's gonna land there. I don't know. Yeah, here I am checking the map, seeing if it's gonna actually get there. And I think we all know that it's not gonna make it. I'm gonna go ahead and kick the speed up here a notch, because this is just me coming to terms with the fact that there's gonna be a horrible issue very, very soon. Yeah, this is when it's starting to set in that it's not happening. The fuel's down to almost nothing, running on fumes. Got the engines down, almost off, just to make those fumes last a little longer, but it's not the best. So this is when it all starts to crumble around me. all of my hopes and dreams. As soon as these tanks go dry, it's over. those Panthers just way too much, and there's nothing keeping it from causing problems. At this point, we did manage to get back up to 4 kilometers, though. You know what they say: speed is life, altitude is life insurance. I think I learned that from Scott Manley back in the day. But yeah, that's not enough life insurance. I put the gear down, like I'm gonna be able to bring this thing in, and you know, the engines are just burning out. Intakes aren't bringing in enough air because there's no momentum. We're just spinning around. And as soon as those engines fail, that's when I realize, I'm like, oh man, we're 3 kilometers up in a dead spin, going 20 meters per second. It's when it's time. It's definitely time for some James Bond moves here by good old Jebediah. And it's a good thing that they managed to incorporate those parachutes, because without these chutes, I'm pretty sure Jeb was a goner. So yeah, here he goes. It's a good thing I have that Panther Afterburner menu up still, because I can kick the chute out for Jeb, so I know he's going to be okay now. And then we can aim the camera and watch the carnage, because it's going to be a show. There's no probe core on here or anything either, so it's not like I had any chance of even like remotely flying it in. It's in a spin. It's not moving incredibly fast, so you know there could easily be a recoverable black box. But yeah, there it goes. Ba-boom. Switching back to Jeb. He's still in the area, so I figure, hey, let's go see the wreckage. Let's see what we got. Here we go. You know, zooming in a little bit, going as quick as possible. And I mean, Jeb's pretty much like the best parachuter in the entire Space Center. Legitimately lands exactly on the wreckage. But let's see what survived. I was a bit surprised by what did survive, because as you can see here in a moment, the cockpit made it. So Jeb, he could have actually, you know, stayed in there. But yeah, a couple of wings, cockpit, that fuel tank that didn't do us any good, and some landing gear. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everybody.